Hello everyone, my name is Katerina from Garden Design Tools. Today I'm going to talk about effects, the importance of effects in your renderings and how to save them for future projects, and the advantages of having these settings, even if it takes a little bit longer during the rendering times. What are the main concerns in terms of certain effects in your renderings, etc. So I'm just going to give you an example. I always talk about using some lifestyle objects. This is a way of making your work more livable and more relatable to your client, as well at the same time using some furniture that maybe you're going to suggest in the future. So this is a perfect time already to showcase that furniture inside your project. Okay. Even in the first images you're showing, even if you will change the furniture, you can quickly add the new furniture if your client really doesn't like this one, or you was looking to something else, etc. So I have this. This is just a few images I've prepared. Just in this case is this is at dawn. So I have quite a few effects on these images, but I just wanted to show you a little bit things like coffee, magazine, or iPad. This is some images you can add to show your client, but this is definitely images you can add for example, when you're sharing your projects in your social networks or even in your website. It's like you have to think a little bit of like you're telling a story of the place, and how is this place going to be used. For example, if this is a perfect place, for example, for the morning coffee. So this is something you can tell with your renderings, and it's very easily inside Lumion. You have all these objects, so nothing extra here except the furniture in this case, in this image. So I will render these images and I'll show you okay, in the end of the video, as still images. But I really like this playing with the depth of field, for example. So I'm just gonna give you the example of some effects. So I have 3 images at dawn and 3 images using the realistic pre-effect select style from Lumion. So Lumion has these styles, okay, and I just add on top of them. Okay, so I really like dawn and realistic is the ones I use the most, to be honest. And but I'll add the still images in the end of the video. In here, just a few considerations. This is very quickly, we go into depth or in terms of the effects in the course, but just very quickly I want to show you some things I like. In this case, I had the real skies. So I use the sunset real sky, but with the dawn style. Just this is because this is images I'm doing to use in my website or in the social networks. I'm a bit more free with the kind of, I'm just looking for the lighting and the shadows and how it looked the best. If you're showing to a client, if you're doing a rendering images, to be honest, I will not even use real skies, because the real skies effect, it takes out the possibility of working with skies and cloud and the sun. The effect sun study is the one that's going to give you the geolocation of the project. So this one is the one I use for the client, because it shows me the exact shadows at that time of the day, at that period of the year, in the client's garden. So if I'm doing some renderings for the client, I will not use the real skies effect. I will use sun study, and I play with that light. But even doing the rendering images for the client, I always prefer sunsets. Just really choose the lightning or that is gonna. I think the worst light to actually do renderings is at midday, when the sun is at its highest point. So, and it's very harsh on the renderings, and it's the same with photography. So just try to choose periods of where the light looks the best, or early morning, but showing at the same time your project, of course, you know, that's why you're doing it. But just really choose the best time to actually showcase your images. So reflections is another thing. Reflections, I use reflections a lot in swimming pools and in glass and in windows, for example, okay? But just take in consideration that this always is gonna, for example, in this image, I have a swimming pool there and it's selected now. But right now I don't have here glass, and I don't have a swimming pool showing in this image, so I can definitely take the reflection out, okay? So it makes the rendering time quicker, okay? So just have that in consideration. Definitely there is no point in showing now reflections here, okay? But it's important in water features or anything with still water, swimming pools, ponds. It's an amazing difference, okay? Another thing I suggest, especially if in social networks or in your website, just the image overlay. So just do a PNG with your logo, for example, in one corner, and do it in Photoshop. And in the image overlay, you can just quickly add that image, or you can fade it a little bit, you see, if you want it a bit more discreet. But just definitely use it as a watermark to watermark your materials, your images. And yeah, the other thing, it's a bit, we talked this a lot in the course, but it's a bit like it's your personal preference as well. So I'm doing this now just to use it in websites, blog posts, etc. This is not actually for a client, but if I was using for a client, I will be more specific. You can add some lifestyle, of course, like I told you, but more specific in showing the areas, showing the vegetation type, etc. Showing the real shadows in different times of day, etc. So I'll add these images once I've done them. I'll add these images in the end of the videos, just for you to see a little bit the difference as well between dawn and realistic select styles. But imagine that you pre-select a style, but you did a bit of work on top of it, and you want to save it for a future project. Okay, so this is very easy inside Lumion. Save effects. Okay, and just give it a name that you know you're gonna remember in the future. So maybe if you did it for a specific area, or maybe if you did it for a specific time of the day, for example, I can put dawn, 10 a.m. This is specific projects in Ericeira, so maybe I will use the location. Okay, I will use the location, or you know, just so you remember in the future exactly the lighting you're talking about. Okay, so this is very quickly, and very quickly you can add the effects. If you wanted to preload the effect, you just go to save style and you go to load effects. So I will definitely suggest that you have a folder of Lumion effects, for example, and you can load them quickly to your images, to your future projects. The same can be done in movies. Okay, you can add that specific style. If you're doing, for example, if you have this okay, I want to use this realistic style, but with the effects I already done. If it's inside the same project, I can just go copy effects, and I'll go to my movie. Okay, sorry about the dog. And I'm using now the same effects as in my rendering images. Okay, but or you can load, if you have like the same with the images, you can load effects here, a pre saved effect in your folders. Okay, so this is it's really important, and it's important to waste a bit of time, especially in the beginning, and it's really a lot of fun. You have a lot of effects to play around with inside Lumion, okay? So you have all this light and shadow and hyperlight, a lot of them. It's just a few of them actually. It's more for interior, but definitely play around. Tilt shift, it's really nice as well, especially when you're doing not for the client but to create some ambience images for your social networks, something like this. But there is a lot you can play around, and the precipitation and snow is one of the new it was really improved in Lumion 9, so this is something we can I don't normally use a lot of precipitation because we work with gardens, and showing off a garden when it's raining, it might be useful if you're using an area with a pergola or some kind of structure that you want to show that they can use that during winter or when it's raining, etc. But no, it's not very frequently I use. But anyway, for some images like ambience images, or they improved a lot the quality of the rain and the water in surfaces like the wood deck, etc. It's really amazing. So I'll do some images maybe with that. But anyway, you have a lot of other effects you can play around with. Some of these effects you can of course add in post rendering, but I find that I rarely use Photoshop for my Lumion images. I never use them for the client's images. I will sometimes in my mobile app I'll use maybe an app or two before I post them to Instagram, for example, but it's very rarely. And I'm gonna do a video in the future with this app called Snapseed. If you didn't know, it's Google's app, and it's in iOS and Android. But it's an amazing app. It's for free. But just this is a part. I'm not gonna do it now. But sometimes I use that app for some touches for before I post them on Instagram. But definitely. You don't need extra programs if you're using Lumion. There is a lot of tweaking you can do with the effects they already have inside the program. Okay, so thank you guys, thank you for watching, and don't forget we have sorry again about the dog is going mad. Before I finish, I just wanted to quickly share some news. The Polygon just announced yesterday, 15th of November 2018, this new category of models. Okay, Polygon, I talked about before. It's an amazing for textures. It's amazing quality, and they have some free textures. So I definitely encourage you to register and just explore a little bit. But now they have models. I didn't try to download them yet, but I will in the future. It's not like so far I don't feel like the need. Between 3D Warehouse and what Lumion has inside, I don't find it. But sometimes if you're working a lot interior design as well, the textures are amazing, and they have some free textures and they keep changing, and so look into it. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, okay? And I'm adding the posts. Sometimes I do a bit more complete, so I keep adding the posts to the blog, and yeah, just check it out and check out our course if you want. If you have any doubts or anything you looking to see, maybe if you have any doubts that you can do that in Lumion or not, just add your question to the comments, okay, and I will answer them. Thank you guys.